Hey everyone, my name's Lauren. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. And today we're doing my honorable mentions, my top 11th to 20th favorite books from this year. I literally spent the morning hustling to try and get a certain book finished so that I could decide on my top 20. So the way that I decided my top 20 is that I'm only allowed to include one book per author in my top 10. And it is the same for the top 20. But some of the authors that I will feature in my top 20 will feature in my top 10. So the books that came close to making the top 10 by certain authors had follow-ups that fell into this category. We're gonna go from 20 to 11 and let's get to it. Book number 20, First Down by Grace Riley. This is a fake dating and tutoring football romance, which is one of my favorite tropes. I adore this trope. It is written beautifully, and the reason this book makes my top 20 is because of James friggin' Callahan. He is the perfect gentleman. He is so sweet. He is the best. I adore him. The only reason that this doesn't make a top 10 is because it didn't really touch me on like a deep soul level. Number 19, The Outpost by Devney Perry. I loved this book so much. I really enjoyed it. The reason it doesn't make the top 10 is because there is another Devney Perry book that I enjoyed more. This is a forced proximity, sort of enemies to lovers book. They have like cute little nicknames for each other. They're stuck in a cabin and it was so good. The plot was gripping. This was really suspenseful, which is why I loved it. It is great. It really did a great job of setting up the next series that follows along after this series, which is another even bigger win. But I adored this so much. Our FMC accidentally exposed the Russian mafia, so she has to go into hiding so that she doesn't get killed. So she goes into hiding in this mysterious cabin with a guy, kind of looks like he could kill you. He's a cinnamon roll, but could still probably kill you. He is doing anything he can to sort of protect his family and his little sister, and it's just, I love it so much. I had such a good time reading this, and I think about it a lot. Of the books in the Jameson Valley series, this is probably the book that I think about the most. This is why I've put it at number 19 spot. Next we have Fake Empire by C.W. Farnsworth. This book I think about constantly. This is an arranged marriage. They both have major crushes on each other throughout their lives, and they both come from super rich families. I love this because Crew really adores and supports Scarlett in such a beautiful way. He really is like one of the perfect boys in my eyes. He literally just is the sweetest, most caring, most wholesome little boy I have ever read about in my life, and I love him. I love Scarlett because she is such like a determined, strong FMC, and I love reading about strong FMCs, and this book just freaking delivered. There is some other woman drama, but I really enjoyed their passion and their drive in life. And book 17, The Sinner by Chantal Tessier. I loved this so much. I know this is a lot of people's like least favorite, but I really enjoyed this. I loved the best friend's brother trope. I enjoyed the plot. I was so intrigued about where this was going, and the fact that he calls her his little demon, it does something to me. I love these books. They are 50% plot, 50% spice, and they are such a good time. Like, this is a friggin' chunky book. I just loved it. I could reread this any day of the week. I had such a freaking crack hot time with this, and I love it. So I highly recommend checking out this series if you haven't. Please check your trigger warnings, obviously. These are quite dark, but this is about a dark secret society set at a college full of rich kids that have chosens, and they've got like arranged marriages. And this one, she's been like obsessed with him for freaking ever. In spot number 16, we have Powerless by Elsie Silver. This is a lot of people's least favorite in this series as well, but I loved this so much. If you've watched my channel for long enough, you know which book in this series is in my top 10, but this I had such a good time with. I loved the relationship between Jasper and Sloane, but I think the thing that sets this apart from all the other books that aren't in the top 20 is that Sloane just grows into a woman, this strong, determined woman. I did talk about this quite significantly in my favorite book from each month video, so go check that out if you want more details, but this one is so good. I think Reckless would have been above this if there was more on-page development from Winter and her relationship with Summer, because Winter is close and I love the friendship dynamic between Sloane and Winter, but I just wanted more from Reckless on page, like development and growth from Winter for it to take out this from second spot in my favorite in the series. Spot number 15 is Ever After Always by Chloe Lees. I adored this so much. This is a marriage and trouble book, and I love this as someone in a long-term relationship because it really shows like the struggles of like going through difficult time in a relationship, particularly a long-term relationship, and then coming out the other side of it through communicating, through hard work. And like it shows that like just because people are like different at the moment, that doesn't mean that they can't come back together through communication, through through putting in the work. I loved it. I think Chloe Lees is a fantastic writer. She creates characters that feel real and feel authentic, and relationships that also feel real and authentic. So that's why I love this, and I highly recommend this whole series. I love the family dynamics in all of these books. They are unmatched. The only family dynamics that come close is the Eden series. So book number 14 is Hes Not My Type by Megan Quinn. I wasn't gonna read this, I was gonna wait, but I'm so glad I didn't put this book off. I loved it. This is the fourth and newest book in the Vancouver Agitator series by Megan Quinn, and I've read a few Megan Quinn books and all of them have been very like fun and lighthearted, but this book cuts deep and it has so many funny sweet moments, but the depth of these characters and the journeys that these two characters go on, I was floored. I never expected this book to make me want to cry. I was emotional at the end. I was broken and healed and put back together in such a beautiful way. This follows Halsey and Blakely. Now, Blakely is just broken up with her boyfriend and needs someone to stay, so she moves in with Mr. Halsey, who has had the biggest crush on her since she started working at the organization. It is great. It's forced proximity, one bed trope. He falls first. Like, he falls fucking hard for her. There is like, all the characters are involved with trying to get them together, and it is so cute. I honestly am utterly obsessed. I would recommend potentially checking your trigger warnings on this one. There is some heavier topics discussed, but I think it was great. I just don't think it had the like quite as much depth for me to put it in a top 10, but it does come very close. Book number 13 goes to Magnolia Parks 2. Magnolia Parks and A Long Way Home. If you've been around long enough, you would have seen me cry on my TikTok live reading this book. I started like annotating it, but then I just got like really stuck into reading it and I didn't end up annotating it. So I probably will reread this at some point. This book gripped me. There was probably like a little bit that could have been cut out that just didn't, which meant that it missed the mark of making the top 10. The reveals that happen in this and the relationship between BJ and Magnolia, you really learn to understand why they are the way that they are and why they are so codependent. The ending broke me. I am so nervous for February. I have no idea what to expect. My world was shattered when I finished this book. Absolutely shattered. I cried. I was broken. Number 12, On the Shore by Laura Pavlov. I adored this. Laura Pavlov is an autobi author for me now. I am so excited. I have finished 2 whole series by her and I am so excited for next year. Cottonwood Cove is probably my favorite series. There is a book included from this series that makes the top 10. I will give that spoiler warning. It was really fun. This is probably I think this is the shortest one, but I really enjoyed it. This is like an enemies to lovers romance, but like there's like, it's because of like sort of miscommunication and like not hearing each other out, but both of them were like, it's really hard to explain, but the enemies to lovers element did stick around for quite a while for such a short book, which I enjoyed. But this follows the GOAT of the NFL, Mr. Lincoln Hendricks, and Brinkley Reynolds, who is one of the sisters in the Reynolds family, and she's a sports reporter and she is determined to find out where the GOAT of the NFL is going to play next year. So she follows him into the bathroom and he's on a phone call that he thought that she was trying to leak to the media, so he dobs her in. She then gets fired. She goes home to her small town, and who should be there but Mr. Lincoln Hendricks. Once he finds out though that he got her fired, he's like, holy shit, I need to make up for this now. So he's doing everything he can to make it up to her. He's given her the exclusive scoop in announcing where he is playing next year, and I loved it. It was cheeky, the spice was good. She also gets sick, so there's like that caring for her element. I love the family dynamics in this book. This text message threads, it is so good. I really, really enjoyed it. I think I ultimately prefer siblings rather than just sisters or just brothers. I think it makes small town interconnected standalones based around families better when they're siblings. This is my second favorite in the series, book number freaking 11. This book was everything. This book is very close to being my favorite in the series, but it just missed them. It just missed the top spot. The top spot you'll find out in the top 10, but book number 11 is Caught Up by Liz Tom Ford. I adored this so much. This is Single Dad Nanny, which is my perfect book, and it is also Coach's Daughter. The single dad nanny trope always does it for me, but this book was beautiful, beautiful. Kai is so determined to be the best dad possible. He is so focused on his son and no one else, but eventually little Miss Miller breaks down his walls, and oh my god, it is so sweet and so wholesome. The relationship that she forms with Max is amazing. I love seeing a bond form between the single parents' child and their love interest. Miller is going through a bit of a tough time. She's feeling a bit of burnout. She's one of the world's best pastry chefs, and she's gone home to her dad to sort of figure herself out. And the only thing that she's focused on is making her dad proud in life. And when you figure out why, when you find out why, you totally just become soft and broken on the inside, because your heart hurts for her, but she is just so loved and so adored by everyone around her. Kai is obviously just wanting to be the best dad possible because he wasn't in his child's life for a little bit of time, and he feels extremely guilty. It was so good. I love all the side characters are involved in this book. I am so excited to see where the next book goes, because it sets up at the end of this book I was like, oh shit, we're gonna have a good time. Caught Up will just sit in my top list for a very long time because it is really, really great. But I did read some really, really good books this year, so I just missed the top 10. Those are the honorable mentions. They are the top 20 to top 11 books that I read this year. I had such a good reading year, and I loved everything that I read almost. I really didn't have too many duds, which I'm super happy about. But on Boxing Day, you guys will see my top 10. I'm so excited for you guys to see that, because it is going to be great. I mean, to be honest, if you've been around long enough, you should know what the top 10 are. Comment below what your honorable mentions are. Like, subscribe, turn on those bell notifications, because that video is going to be dropping on Boxing Day and you don't want to miss it. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.